Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Raw Life Health Show. I have a guest here I'm going to interview about his diet, and his name is David Day. Hello, David. How you doing?
Hello, Paul. Good morning. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to interview you because I know you've been eating a raw vegan diet for quite a while, and I wanted to hear little about your story and how you're doing with it. So, tell the audience a little bit about you. How long have you been eating raw foods? Are you all raw, and what got you into it?
All right. Well, I've been a little over 11 and a half years where when, like things tilted that way. And yeah, I'm fully raw. I only eat mainly raw fruit, but sometimes leafy greens as well. And occasionally I do like raw sesame seeds or raw sunflower seeds, but not much.
Okay. So 11 and a half years ago, how old are you, by the way?
I'm 39 years
39.
young.
So
Yeah.
11 and a half years ago, what made you decide to start eating all raw food diet?
Well, I think there was many components and factors. It was, but I always want to clarify. It was not a decision of the ego. I didn't know what a fruitarian or a raw vegan was. It was just very intuitive of taking things out. We live in a society where we are always adding things. Adding the vitamin for this, adding the magic pill for that, adding. And I think that my process was a little bit of start taking things out, and starting from scratch, in that way. I noticed the things. I was in a heavy protein diet, because I was pursuing, athletics. I always trained, and I play soccer. I run. My lifestyle is very active, but I started, noticing a lot of digestive issues, started going to the doctor more and more often. And I think that taking away, like the chicken, and then, taking away like the meat and the fish and and all these things little by little. And then, yeah, and then the tilting point is it was kind of funny because I think that when I was building my house in Argentina, it was very physical work. A lot of lifting the cement bags are 50 kilos. I think that's over 100 pounds each bag, and you don't have handles or anything, so like, applying that force, it's way more challenging. Brick cement, rebar, working with all these things. And I was eating, I mean, bananas and mandarins. And and then I designed all the kitchen, how it was going to be, the oven here, the stove there. And when it got time to build the kitchen after 6 months, I thought, well, I've been eating raw. I've been feeling better than ever before. I did, like, like I was doing these cold showers also because I didn't have a hot water. This is way before Wim Hof, right? So like, and now it's a trend, but at the moment, oh man, I suffered. But yeah, like a lot of learning, like with exposing the cold. A lot of learning with eating raw, and the vitality that you get out of that, right?
Sure. So, were you ever, I know you said you used to go to the doctor for digestive issues. Were you ever officially diagnosed with any illness?
Um, yeah, like well, I mean, if we go back to, like, my childhood, I grew up with asthma. I had allergies a lot. Those things went away with this lifestyle. Also with a lot of fasting, I do a lot of fasting, so that helped me a lot through the process of cleaning my body. And then with the digestive thing, I used to have like acid reflux. I thought acid reflux was normal. I thought that, having, like, I had a little bit of gastritis. I thought that, the bowel movements and being uncomfortable was normal. And those things that we think that they are normal are, or, oh, I'm getting older, or this, or, like, just things that we just consider they are not normal. What is normal is to feel good, to be joyful, to wake up happy, to feel light, to, if you don't eat for a day or two, you can still keep on going and have energy. I would think that if you don't eat in a couple hours, you start going down, and in 2 or 3 days you will die. That was my conception of the whole thing. And I think that tapping into our nature, for me at least, it's very vivid how I remember that as a child I didn't want to eat anything but fruits. I used to eat bananas, and kiwi and all these fruits, and I just wanted to eat fruits, and my parents really insisted because they thought that it was the best for me. The interpretation of health at the time was like, oh, eat this meat, and the more money you have, the more protein you will put in your diet, and the stronger your kids will be. That kind of dynamic that is still up to date. A lot of people believe in that, and so I was forced to eat meat throughout my childhood. I was like a vegetarian by choice. At the age of 6 or 7, they allow me to use glycerin soap, like without animal products, because I didn't want to be eating animals. And this thing that I remember very vividly, because I remember arguing with my parents, and they would be like saying, if you don't eat this animal, you are gonna perish. And I thought to myself, I'd rather perish than having to consume another animal or another being in order to keep my existence. That was very clear for me at the age of 5. So I think that that's something very important that I tell even my meat eater friends. I tell them, like, if you're gonna eat it, like, eat it for whatever reason, but not because you need it, because you don't. Like, your existence doesn't depend on consuming someone else to exist or to succeed.
Sure. Now, when you made this change, even now, what does your family and your friends say? What did they say then, and what do they say now?
Well, it was a very special moment of my life, because it was by the moment my mother had colon cancer, and she got the disease 6 months, and now she's in heaven. But I think that being able to see firsthand that the best doctors in Argentina at the moment were not able to come up with solutions, and the paradox that we study, that didn't give a solution to a premature death of a disease, gave me personally a lot of questions, and I was very isolated for the time being. So I didn't have much contact with the outside on a day-to-day basis. So for me, it was very easy to just go and get the food that I want, and eat that, and not having the exposure that other friends of mine, maybe they live with a family and they open the fridge and they have a yogurt, or they have this or that. I didn't have that problem. I just
Okay.
was buying fruit in bulk, which is cheaper in Argentina, like 40 pounds of bananas, 40 pounds of mangoes, whatever fruit, and just go through that, and then go and look for another box, and like that.
Sure. When you started, did you lose weight or not really?
Um, yeah, I lost weight, but I think that it was a combination of many things. Nowadays, I do work with people one on one, and like I always warn them that you will lose weight, because most of the time we are. I mean, not for everybody, it depends, but a lot of people overeat to keep their weight, to look a certain way. And I always emphasize on the programming that we have on having certain weight, and people telling me all the time that are underweight or overweight because of their height. And I just think that it's a little bit of a naive notion. My answer to that is that your weight will depend on your activity, and no one has more wisdom to determine what your weight is than your own body. If you start running marathons, you're going to become lighter. You're going to lose weight. I am a runner, so of course, like, you're lean. But if I would be a cyclist, my quads would grow very big. And both exercises are with the legs, but our body has the wisdom of determining what is the most efficiency. So I always insist on that. If you're gonna be, like, lifting bags or lifting weights or whatever, you're gonna have, like, like a lot more muscle than someone that is keen.
Sure.
So your body knows better. So yeah, like, I think that the detoxifying process makes you lose weight, of course, at the beginning. And you start, like, getting rid of toxins, and as you well know, like, um we have toxins in our body and metabolic waste, since we have our antibiotics for our first year infection, these things that we couldn't process since childhood. So we're going to start getting rid of that. Our body will lose weight, and then will regain it.
Sure.
um,
Now,
so
as you started doing this and started having success and realized, hey, I'm just going to stay on this diet because I feel good. At that point, did you just instinctively keep doing it over the 11 years, or at any point did you start researching people that have been doing it a long time and get information? Or what's been your path?
Well, I thought I was the only one in the world doing this. I was in Argentina, living like just outside the city, like so it was like close enough, 20 minutes, 25 minutes from the city, but at the same time, I was like in the countryside a little bit. So it was very beautiful to have that moment, also the connection with the earth. I grew up in a city, the city of Buenos Aires, which has a dynamic for our American friends that are watching, is a dynamic very much like New York City, you know, where everybody's walking, taking the subway, taking the train somewhere, and that kind of dynamic. So we are never grounding, you know, we're always stepping on cement and like, you know, just living in the country, building my house. That was a very grounding process. So yeah, when I came back to the US, I was introduced by an old friend that we lost contact for many years, and I got back in contact with him, and he was a fruitarian almost the same time that I was, and he told me about the term fruitarian. I didn't even know what that was. I was like, yeah, no, I just eat fruit. Like I am not eating any of the other thing. And then he lives in Texas, and he introduced to me to my first two fruitarian friends. One of them is a ultra marathonist. She runs ultra marathons, and actually she follows the 80-10-10. So because I can eat by season, it depends the season, but I can eat a lot of avocados, and she was like not eating avocados because of the amount of fat and all these things, because you know, like we all have our perspectives and the fruit that resonate to us. But it was so inspiring for me to meet her, because I was running half marathon distances, and I thought to myself, well, she's eating less bananas than I am, and she's running ultra marathons, so I think I can go farther. So she helped me you know, gain a lot of confidence, and not only on my lifestyle and diet, which already had like 4 or 5 years at the moment, or maybe a little more, yeah, around 5 years, maybe six. But also it helped me see that, you know, like someone with that lifestyle, it's like running almost 4 marathons in one, you know. So that was
Amazing.
very beautiful too.
Wow, and she's in Texas.
She's in Texas. Yeah, yeah, she lives in
How long
there.
has
Yeah,
she been? How long has she been on a raw diet?
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure over a decade. I don't
Wow,
know.
wow. And so for yourself, when you were growing your house in Brazil, in Argentina, and you realized that this is the way you're eating, did you put any fruit trees in, or were you not able to grow fruit trees out there?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I do have. I still have them. I have loquat trees. I have orange trees. Lemon. I have almonds. What else? I have avocado trees. They haven't given avocados yet, but I. It's another beautiful thing, because there's so much knowledge and learning that, I mean, me, by throwing the seeds, the avocado seeds, throwing mango seeds. I don't live in a mango area. I still had 3 mango trees growing out of the compost. I had over 10 avocado trees growing out just by throwing the seed, not planting the seed, but just throwing it out there. I have papaya trees. I had, yeah, like, I mean, I had things like carrots. I planted a carrot, and then I saw the plant was so beautiful. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to take it out. I don't eat carrots really. If there's carrots on a salad that someone prepares, I might have a little, but I don't I don't like having things that are under the earth, basically.
So
Um, yeah.
when you eat your food, do you have set meal times, or you just eat whenever you're hungry?
I eat. It depends on the day, and for example, I try to have 1 or 2 yoga classes in the morning, or a long run before eating. Um, I have an activity before eating, and I try to eat as late as 12. Sometimes I keep on going until 2 p.m. Sometimes I do a little earlier, so around 11. So it varies a lot. I eat no more than twice a day. And then my last meal, it's at least 4 to 5 hours before going to bed. And if I do an exception, I highly regret it. So that keeps me on track a lot, because if I eat late at night or something, even though it's a salad with an avocado, my salads is just leafy greens and an avocado. I don't like mixing stuff, you know, like
So
too much.
so you said
Yeah,
you don't eat more than 2 meals a day,
generally I
and
don't know.
and you don't eat late at night or close to going to sleep. You go to sleep.
Exactly.
So I don't know if
Exactly.
you know this, but I wrote a book called The Daylight Diet, and the Daylight Diet talks exactly about that. Eating 2 meals a day and not eating at night and going to sleep with maybe 4 or 5 hours on an empty stomach.
That's amazing. I wanna see your book. I wanna read your book because yeah, I'm very aligned with that. I feel that, like
I think in the research I did, I think everyone has their own situation and the way they want to eat and what they're going to do, and there's no right or wrong. Everyone has to do what works best for them. But what I found works the best from a body standpoint, from a health standpoint, is that very thing. And it's not easy when you're starting out to get there because you got to make adjustments. But ultimately, if somebody is going to do this a long time, I feel this is the best way. So I'm glad to hear you doing that successfully.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I feel that also. It's like, the mindfulness of using the energy we already carry. We carry so much energy that at this point it's not about getting more energy, as we were saying. It's not about putting in more, but curating and what are we gonna use the energy. And I even challenge my friends that, do CrossFit and all this all these hard trainings. I tell them, like, you can have the perfect diet and the perfect like, but what are you gonna do with that energy, like, and it's
Sure,
very important to
sure.
use
So,
the energy. Yeah.
so how much water do you consume?
Not much. I consume very little water, especially because now I'm living in Los Angeles, and I think that when I'm like around in Colorado or somewhere like that, that I go in the summers, like, and I get like fresh water from the mountains. I feel more open and trusting more the water here. I don't feel that the water quality is very good. In Argentina, I have a well and I have a creek. I have like
Wow,
resources of
sounds beautiful. Is it what kind of environment is? How's the weather in Argentina where you have a house?
where I have my house is tropical with a dry season. So
Oh, nice.
it's yeah, it's like a mountain weather, but it's in the same latitude that the Florida Keys,
Oh,
interestingly.
wow. Wow.
So we do have like like it freezes like 4 or 5 times a year during the winter time, and but there's sun, like it's a dry season, so you have sun all the winter.
The
So
Florida
that
Keys, the Florida Keys don't freeze at all.
Oh, I know. I know. It's just like, like it's like
Yeah.
would be like the mountain version of it because it's
Oh,
like,
the mountain version. Yeah. The mountain version you said? Yeah. Okay. So what
yeah.
about supplements? Do you have you in the past taken supplements or do you ever take supplements or no?
Well, I used to I measure my B12 in the ways that are not the conventional ways, but my B12, because I researched quite a bit, and instead of measuring it by blood, I measure it by the methylmalonic acid in the urine, and also well, yeah, also getting the B12 by the blood, but taking care of the metabolic residue of absorbing it, and by times was extremely low. So, but I was like, I didn't have any of the symptoms. I was like literally like running half marathons, like, 2, 3 a week at least. So I thought, okay, I'll just take the B12 just in case. And I took B12 for a little bit, and then in and out, and then I just didn't anymore. I don't. Same with the high blood pressure. When I measure, and this is a very important point, when we measure our blood or whatever we measure, we are averaging the demographics, and we are not in a demographic that it's very
Oh,
popular. Unfortunately, not yet. It will be, I'm sure.
well,
Uh, but
we'll
but
see.
yeah,
I don't know if it'll be popular, but so this is not easy for a lot of people to do because of the brainwashing that's going on in the world.
absolutely, but like the more we go in the wrong way, the more obvious the right way becomes, right? Then, like, at least the more efficient. So, we as humans, we always pursue the efficiency. So
Now,
I think that naturally is going to increment a lot.
do you
I'm very
ever
optimistic about it.
do you ever monitor your work or you don't do that?
What? Sorry.
Your blood work. Do you ever get a blood test or no?
Yeah, well, the last one that I got, I mean, everything was like on point, everything was fine. I stopped doing it, and like I would like to mention, like, more than the blood work, another thing, that because in the society we talk so much about accelerating the metabolism, and really when your body reduces the metabolic waste, you get more miles per gallon. And what do I want to say by that? I want to say that your heart rate needs to pump less times, you breathe less oxygen, you eat less food, and you do more. So I think that is very important. Last year, I went to one of the clinics where I got a certification for colonic hydrotherapy and some other modalities that I like doing with the patients that I work with. They measure my vitals, and I've been monitoring them last year when I was training a lot. And my resting heart rate sometimes is under 40, and they were telling me in the clinic after I walked 1 kilometer with a backpack, to get there, and my heart rate I was 50 something, and then the blood pressure was also super low, and they told me like, how are you feeling? I was like, I feel fantastic. I'm ready to jump in the pool and and just get to know the
They
place.
don't
And
understand. They don't get it. They don't understand.
they were like, we would think that you were about to pass out with this blood pressure, but it's just what I want to tell with this story and communicate is that your body becomes so efficient that as I was just saying, you need less oxygen, your heart doesn't have to beat so much. And so this economy in your body will help you go farther, and it will help you with the longevity as well.
Exactly. People are brainwashed today to think they need to speed up their metabolism to lose weight. It's like stop eating junk food. You won't put the weight on. The key to great health is not speeding it up, it's slowing it down and just not going crazy. It's you got it, man. So now another thing you said is you said you do a lot of fasting. There's different types of fasting out there, but I've heard you say that, if there's no food around, you just don't eat.
I just don't eat. And that's what I do with the social events or whatever. Like, I mean, I either eat before, and my favorite is not even to eat, because if I eat before, then maybe I see food and I want to eat again. So if I don't eat at all, it's like even easier, and I'm more present, I'm more lucid, I have more mental agility if I don't eat. So yeah, it's very, very interesting path. I started with water fasting to heal a gastritis. My doctor told me my first gastritis was at 25, and my doctor told me like, well, you have to fast 7 to 10 days. I thought I would die.
Your
I
doctor
thought,
told you to fast?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He told me like his colonoscopy machine was broken, but by the time they're gonna fix it in a week, and by the time he gets it back, if I just fast, I'm not gonna have a
Wait,
problem
he was
anymore.
a medical doctor
A medical doctor,
and he
yes.
told you to go on a water fast for 5 to 7 days.
7 to 10, he told me, yeah.
A medical doctor told you that.
Yeah,
Now,
back in 14 years ago, he told me that.
but
Yeah,
that's not common that a medical doctor would suggest fasting.
an angel.
Now, did
Because
did you ever go back and talk to the guy and say, "Hey,
I will someday, because I did it, and I had like my mother at the time was building like this ranch into her house, like so I had so much energy, and I think I had a lot of things clogged up because I was eating a lot of like a lot of meat and a lot of carbohydrates, like in the form of pasta and things like that. So like I just started like freeing a lot of energy that it was just there, and like freeing my intestines, and it was really, really good for like, I mean, I had a lot of energy through the process
well,
in that process.
amazing." Now, one of the most important confirmations that what you're doing is right is sleep. Sleep is a tremendously important thing for healing. The fact that you go to sleep on an empty stomach is wonderful because that helps you get that healing you need. So, what time do you normally go to sleep, and how many hours do you usually get?
Okay, normally, what I like the most, because this varies so much, Paul, but like I like around 8:30 or 9, I am already, and this is a pattern that not only I follow here in LA, even though sunset right now is at 8 p.m., but I still like, sun comes down, I still like, I feel like winding down. And also it happened to me in Argentina, living like in the countryside, just not having stimulation. I haven't owned a TV in almost 20 years. So like, I just and I don't play too much with my phone, so like I don't get those distractions. So I go to sleep around that time. I wake up, it depends. Like now I've been waking up like 7-ish or so. But I will tell you, when I'm training very hard, I do like having my 11 hours of sleep, 11 and a half.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, but those days I am either like right now, for example, my activity, I started practicing yoga, discovering yoga really, because it's such a different practice of everything that I was doing, and really didn't make sense to me. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a yoga class every day until get it for 2 weeks. And then I was like, okay, I'll do for a month, I'll do 2 classes a day every day. Now I'm doing three, and then some days I do 4 or 5 classes, kidded yoga intense, like Bikram, or like or
Well, you're sleeping 11 hours a night and you're doing yoga 3 times a day. I mean, what's your job? Is it strictly counseling people about the raw food diet and helping people, or do you do something else?
well, I do, like, I live very much in the present, but I am my main occupation right now. I'm working on a handbook for professionals in the health industry to learn about nutrition. So because I went to medical school for a little bit in Argentina, and we have none of this information. We have no information about fasting. I think that like if you're a dietitian or someone that takes care of people in that realm, you need at least to do 2 weeks fast, to understand a little bit the body, and those things that I think that they are just crucial, like knowledge to know, like when people are in a crisis. So I am preparing that handbook these days. That's my main occupation, and I do a lot of photography work, audio visuals, but I'm trying to step out from that. But it's something I did my whole life. I really enjoy it, like creating videos, photos, and helping helping friends that have conscious businesses, to get exposure and that kind of thing. But now I'm not sleeping 11 hours. Like I'm sleeping less. I'm sleeping like 10 or 9, but 8 hours is definitely not for me. I do spend a lot of energy during the day. So if I sleep less than 10 hours, I'll take an hour nap sometime. But I do like my to have a lot of rest, and then when I'm out, and like I have no energetic limitation. If you tell me like, oh, let's go in the afternoon for a 10K, 15K, or even 20K, I'm like, okay, I don't even have to plan on it. I can just go on an empty stomach and do it.
Now,
But then I
do you have a wife, a girlfriend, or children or anything, or are you completely a free bird?
not yet.
Okay. So
Yeah,
so you could
but
do it
I want
everything what you
children.
want. You're a single guy and you can get on any schedule you want. You don't have the family responsibilities and things like this.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and both my parents are in heaven, so I have a, like like I still have some family, but I have a very independent flow, and we were raised to be very autonomous in my family in general. We were all very autonomous people, and yeah, independent, and just chasing our dreams and going for it.
Well, besides the people you know personally, if somebody's not doing well health wise and they want to change, how do people find out you? Is it through word of mouth or how do you get clients?
I do give a lot of talks. Like in general, I traveled over 20 states in the United States, giving talks and workshops. My workshops, I don't say it's a raw vegan, oil-free, salt-free recipes, but that's what I was doing. Helping people making salads more interesting and all this. But my people get in contact with me through social media, through talks, through other people as well. And yeah, I do one-on-one consulting and coaching. My programs are 4 to 6 weeks, because after that time period, you can do it yourself. I look for people to become autonomous in all this and become very aware of where the limitations are, and we work on that. There's a lot of psychology to it, because we have to reprogram all these things. But I do have a lot of pleasure on seeing people succeed.
Very
on
well.
this.
Now, I know you're on Instagram. Do you have a website, or is Instagram the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Instagram is like the most direct because I'll get a message right on my cell phone, and like I do check my email, but Instagram messages like just come through. And yeah, and to the audience, like I think that like if like something were to start, that it's something that I always like sharing with anyone that crosses my path. And like if people make it this far on the video, I love to share it. It's as you mentioned, and your book that I want to read, it's not eating at night, 4 or 5 hours, no food at night. So the body, instead of digesting, will repair. In the morning, you are fully charged. You're like your cell phone is fully charged. You're fully charged as well. So you just rested. You can go and spend your energy and make the like if you're not in the fruitarian raw vegan lifestyle, it doesn't matter. You can just make your first meal a fruit mono meal. If you want to eat a watermelon, if you want to eat apples, if you want to eat whatever fruit is your favorite. There's not the best fruit, or this is good for this or that. That doesn't matter. Just pick a fruit that you love in the season and just eat as much as you want. And that will help you physically. But the main source, and this is a physical body can elevate the consciousness, but really what we're after is elevating the consciousness, and that's the main source of nutrition of the consciousness is the purpose. And I think that you can eat whatever you want to choose to eat, but if you don't have a clear purpose, if you are not at service of spreading your love, it's a dead end. So keep in mind that the physicality, eating fruits, intermittent fasting is going to be the what keeps your physicality in the best shape. But we need the physicality to elevate our consciousness, and that's the main goal.
Amen. I mean, it's wonderful information you're sharing, and if you're ever in Florida, look me up because I got some amazing fruit trees, and I'd love you to taste some of the amazing fruit out here. You are in California now, which is an amazing place. They have a tremendous amount of good food and great weather. It's really beautiful out there. So you're truly blessed. Are you planning to travel the United States? Or are you staying in Florida now, or are you going back to Argentina?
For now, since I have both citizenships, I luckily I have the freedom to come and go as I please. Now my goal, my ultimate goal and dream is to I wanna I've been looking for land all over the U.S., but I wanna have a space where people can come and try the lifestyle, and come and also cure their illnesses, because a lot of people that get on board with all these things is because they're having severe or mild, whatever, problems with their health. So I ultimately I'm gonna do an exploration before the end of the year of a few countries nearby to explore the possibility of having a piece of land, and doing these things. But so far I'm staying here because I find that here in California is where I found the most um, cravings for health consciousness. I also feel that it's a very influential place in the world in general, and so I feel very very happy to be here. And of course. Our lifestyle it's not that mainstream nowadays, but I feel that there's a desire, because I encounter a lot of people that have different interpretations of what optimal health is, and I just love being here in the in a place where people are seeking for that. And I'm having great results with people so far that work with me, so I'm very happy about it, and a lot of connections. So I think that LA is my place for now, but yeah, I'm always moving, always traveling, and I would love to visit you over there in Florida. It's the fruit over there is probably the best in the country,
It
so
really
yeah.
is. Now, there's a lot of raw food restaurants out there in California. Do you ever visit them, or do you just try to avoid that?
It's a great question actually. I try to like it's not I try to avoid it. I do avoid it. The reason is and because I don't do salt or oil, and I find that a lot, even though they are raw vegan, it's like an overstimulation that that gets with salt and oil. Yeah, I used to do consulting for restaurants. I did it in New York. I did it in Texas. I did it here as well in Argentina with consulting with the vegan restaurants. I used to go to vegan restaurants and help them make their recipes healthier. Instead of using sugar, processing raisins or dates, and using things that will mineralize their food instead of just adding the flavor, but having a different effects. So I got to a point. I hope it doesn't sound like bragging, but like even if I want to do something, I rather make it myself or go or my friends. I have friends that like my friend Bernard here. He has this converted bus. He's raw vegan. He makes this deliciousness of things. He like has a spot in his converted bus where he dries his herbs, and he's from France, so he has all these culinary things, and he makes some of the best raw vegan dishes I tried. He makes he has the dehydrator and all this fancy equipment, and I have good friends like that here in the community that Daniel also, like, he had me try a sauce that he made like with everything raw, and he added turmeric, and it's just beautiful to share these recipes with from friends. I just feel that it's so much more organic to get together and go for a picnic and do something special for the friends and share it in that way than going to a restaurant, which it's a nice experience and all, but it's just I love the acts of service, like giving and being served, in a organic way. It's the most beautiful thing.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, it's so great to meet you and talk to you. And I'm going to put your contact information below for anyone who's looking for a consultation or just get inspired by somebody who's been doing this now for 11 years and has experience with it. Check out his Instagram channel. I'll put the link below. And it's inspiring and encouraging to meet people like you. So thanks for taking the time to come on the show and introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Paul. And also, I want to extend the invitation that if at any point you feel called to come to LA, we have this amazing raw vegan community. Jamie Love is the one that organizes the most things, but I have other fruitarian groups and friends. That is one of the reasons. So you're always welcome to come and connect here and nourish yourself not only with fruits but with a lovely community. And anyone who also wants to be part of it, it's very welcome to connect through Instagram.
Thank you, man. All right, everybody, get down to the link below and check out David's channel. And thanks for watching, and share this video with others. Until then, thank you, David, and everybody else. Have a great day and a great raw life.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up your life.